day 147. So this lighting makes me look a little yellow, but it is what it is. I'm just gonna lie down on the bed and talk to you. And so, after the whole fiasco of being 4 hours on the phone, realizing I needed to call somebody else, that was not fun. And this is Monkey, by the way. I'm a monkey. And so, yeah, so then I decided self-care, taking care of myself, taking care of everything. So I took a bath, which was really, really nice. I haven't taken a bath in a really long time, so that was good. Took a bath, napped, hardcore napped, then pulled some cards for like the new moon for myself, which was nice. A few like realizations, but also quite a bit of like, continue what I'm doing. So that confirmation, which was really nice, and to make sure to kind of like tap in and stick to that. But also good news of like completing some really big cycles, which is huge. I'm really excited to I feel like I've completed those cycles. Like this, what's interesting about completing cycles is like you energetically like feel it. And that's what I'm feeling right now. Like I feel like there's like a shift within me. So I'm enjoying that. What else? I wanted to actually talk to you about something. It is late for me. Ooh, following the breadcrumbs. Okay. We're going to put Monkey aside for now. Let's follow the breadcrumbs. I want to share with you what it means to follow the universe breadcrumbs, because sometimes like the universe is always sending us breadcrumbs, always there. And whether it's like a sign like that you see on the road, or something you hear on the radio, or it's someone that suggests something, the universe is always sending us breadcrumbs, and it is up to us using our intuition to follow them or not. And if our intuition says no, that's okay. We are not meant to follow that one. Like, just trust your intuition, trust yourself. And so what does it actually look like? Like when people suggest things to you, or when people say, hey, have you thought about this? Or hey, have you heard about this? Pay attention to that. Pay attention, because that, especially when you hear it more than once. So when it pops into your field more than once, when like the second, third person mentions like tarot reading, or they mention that you should do like, go check out this shop. Listen to that, because that's a breadcrumb, because meaning that the universe gave you the breadcrumb initially and you didn't catch it. And then the universe is like, well, this is important. This is fucking important. They need to hear this. And so then the universe is like, here you go again. Oh, she didn't listen again? Come on, what do we have to do? Send it her 5,000 times. Put it on the radio. Do all the things. Listen to those breadcrumbs. Listen when someone suggests something. Listen when you see something. Listen when something comes into your field of vision, like into your reality. There's a reason it comes into your reality. There's a reason it's being shown to you. And so like, because you never know where it can lead you. And so a few examples for like, just to share with you what they look like. The wellness market. So I saw through, I think I was like following one of the grocery stores here in Tofino, like the grocery store Gaia. And so I saw through their stories that there was going to be this wellness market in Tofino. And I was like, ooh, like wellness. I'm like, it's similar to what I do. And so I'm like, okay, like how can I, like learn more about this? And so I, clicked on the Instagram, started following them, saw when the next one was in Tofino, and I showed up. It was pissing rain, but I knew it was a breadcrumb, and I knew there was a reason why I was showing up. And that day I was like doing some Airbnb cleans, and initially I was supposed to finish a lot later and I wasn't sure if I was going to make it, but somehow everything fell into place that I finished in just enough time. And because it was pissing rain, I was worried it was going to be canceled, and it kept going. So that was like what was interesting. So like all these like little things just lined up perfectly for me to go. And when I got there, I went to like a few of the tents, ended up speaking to some people. And then there was like another coach that was there. He was like, go talk to the organizer. Go talk to him. He's there. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I went, and then that was when I spoke to the organizer, and like, you should have your tent here. Like, you should have a stand. And I'm like, yes, like, let's talk about this. And then, yeah, when we chatted about it, it was a yes, like, and then here we are, like, 2 markets later, and that's how it started. I just followed a breadcrumb. I didn't do anything more than that. Another breadcrumb, that this one just came recently. Don't know where it's going to lead me or what's going to be the outcome, but it was, I went and I dropped off my books, so a few copies at the Mermaid bookstore, and I dropped them off, like, signed up a new contract with them. And then I told like the girl who works there, I was like, oh my God, I'm like, also like I wrote a second book, like I still need to find an editor and do that whole process. I'm like, I'm gonna have a second book here. I'm like, it's bigger. And I'm like, and I'll have a spine, because like she had mentioned that my book is very hard to sometimes put in like the shelf, like people won't know what it is because there's no spine, because it's so thin that Amazon didn't allow me to put a spine. And she was like, yeah, she's like, that's awesome. And then she was like, oh, I think she's like, I'm pretty sure, she's like, there is a writers group in Tofino. I was like, what? She's like, yeah, there's like tons of like authors and writers and people here in Tofino. Like, you should go and like, meet up with them and like find out who they are. And I was like, okay. She's like, maybe check Facebook, whatnot. So yeah, I did end up messaging the Tofino's poet laureate. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but yeah, so I don't know where this breadcrumb is leading, but this is what breadcrumbs look like, and it is following your intuition, and it can lead you somewhere you unexpected, like you didn't expect, and somewhere amazing. It may lead you somewhere where you're like, man, okay, well that was that, and that's okay too, wherever it does. But then even the man that was that, you still learned something along the way. You still grew. You still experienced something. And so, and this is how you co-create with the universe. This is how you work towards, your manifestations, your goals, or like the things you desire in your life, is this co-creation. It's basically you're putting out to the universe, hey, universe, this is what I desire. This is what I desire right now. This is what I want to bring into my reality. And then the universe is like, okay, you ready? And you're like, yeah, I'm ready. Yeah, send them 7. Send them. And the universe is like, okay, here's a breadcrumb for you to follow. And you're like, squirrel. Follow the breadcrumb. Follow the breadcrumb. You never know. Because I know recently one of my manifestations, I'm trying to bring in an editor for my second book. I want to start editing it because I want to launch it in 2023. But also I trust in divine timing. But I'm just putting that out in the universe and be like, I'm looking for an editor whenever the editor is meant to come. And then I go to the bookstore. And then she's like, I think there's a writer's club. Whether that writer's club brings me an editor or not, or brings me somewhere even better, hey, you never know. And so, this is what following the breadcrumbs looks like. La 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 la. Anyways, I'm like kind of like a little bit like spacey right now just because it is late. It is 10 o'clock at night and I'm ready for bed. And I knew I had to do this live before going to bed, so I make sure I don't miss a day. So thank you for watching. I will speak to you tomorrow for day 148. Bye.